Hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer's Speaks Radio. I'm Lori La Bey, the host and founder of Alzheimer's Speaks. And today we're going to be talking with Khalsa, who is with the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation. But before I get into my introduction with her, and we learn just a lot of fabulous work that her and the foundation are doing, I always like to tell people a little bit about Alzheimer's Speaks, because we're always getting new listeners, which I so appreciate. So bottom line, Alzheimer's Speaks is an advocacy-based company providing multiple platforms to shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort. And I felt a need for that because my mom had dementia for 30 years and I felt lost and disconnected. And so it's really quite an honor to be able to talk with people all over the world that are dealing with this disease, people who have dementia, people who are caring for them, both families and professionals and organizations and advocates, and the list just goes on and on and on. We are known as a media outlet. So if business is interested in expanding their audience, please feel free to talk to me about that. We have lots of opportunities to assist you there. Our core beliefs here are just having everyday conversations. How do we do that and have people feel comfortable instead of fleeing us when we want to bring up the discussion of dementia or the discussion of, how do we care for ourselves or for one another? And it's just extremely important. And so I love that we do kind of talk radio here. We have an everyday conversation about important topics to be able to break myths and help bring you resources. We also believe really deeply that the only way we're going to win this battle is to work collaboratively together. And I know that that's working thanks to each and every one of you. You see, your likes, your clicks, your shares have really helped this movement push forward. For example, here at Alzheimer's Speaks, you're the ones that got us recognized by Oprah and Maria Shriver and Dr. Oz. That wasn't us. That was you guys sharing our information. And I can't thank you enough. And I want to share those acknowledgments with you because I truly do believe it's a team effort. I also want to invite you to be a guest on the show because, again, we need to hear from everybody at all levels because we're a team. It takes a village to live in this world, and it's very important that we include all voices. So I would love to hear your story, your thoughts, and how you feel we can improve the world with our dementia care culture. I also get a question a lot of, where can I meet you personally? Where are you going to be speaking? Because I do a lot of keynotes and conferences. So in March, I am going to be in Chesterton, Indiana. I'm going to be working with the library system there. They are doing a free, they call it community conversations, and we're going to be screening the film His Neighbor Phil. And I will be in Indiana from March 6th to March 9th. And then March 15th through the 19th, I'm going to be down in Melbourne, Florida. And there is a family caregiver conference, and I'm really excited about that. And then the end of March, the 26th through the 28th, I'm going to be out in Spokane, Washington, doing a Northwest Rural Health Conference. And you can find information on all of those if you just go to alzheimersspeaks.com. They're right on the front page. I always like to give a shout out to a couple of organizations. One is typically the Alzheimer's Research and Foundation, but I'm going to bypass that because you're going to get way more than my spiel on it. But I do want to highlight a couple of organizations. One is called the Roberto app, and I absolutely love this because it helps measure brain function, and it's very inexpensive. Again, if you go to our homepage, there's a code, and you'll get double kind of the free trial to see what it's like. If your score isn't the best, that doesn't mean you have dementia. We have to look at an array of things, which is part of what Kirti will talk about today too. Maybe you didn't get very, very good sleep. Maybe you're under a lot of stress. maybe you just need to drink more fluids because your brain's mostly made of liquids and it needs that. There's lots of different things that could complicate how your brain functions. Again, that's called the Roberto app. And you can just go to the App Store and pick that up. Or again, go to our site and you can get the codes. And then the Women's Alzheimer's Movement, which is Maria Shriver's, and I just adore her to death, is doing wonderful work. They're known as WHAM. They're going to be doing Move for Minds, which will come out in June. Last year, I think we were in 8 cities, and it's going to be significantly more than that this year. So I will keep you posted as I get information on that. And then the last organization is called the Call Alert Center, which I love. You know, with dementia, there's always a possibility of somebody wandering, and you never know what's going to happen until it happens. And this is a system that allows you to prepare ahead of time, because you know, when you're in crisis, you don't want to be figuring out how tall is somebody and how much do they weigh, and, you know, what's the license plate number if they took the car. Let's get to our topic today. We are going to be talking about how to achieve brain longevity in our golden years. And I am slowly creeping up. I should say fastly creeping up on my golden years here, because I'm going to be 60 pretty soon. And it just amazes me how time flies and how I'm falling into that category here really quickly. We have Kirti Khalsa with us, and she is from Rome, Italy, and she also lives in Tucson, Arizona, and she's the CEO and the co-founder of the Alzheimer's Research Prevention Foundation. And she is really driven by her passion to help elders, you know, stay healthy and vibrant and really, you know, continue to be a part of our community. And she is a yoga practitioner for over 30 years and a yoga teacher for seniors and people with disabilities for 20. And so she just has some great insight. She's one of the kindest people I've met in my life. I just adore her. She enjoys gardening in her spare time, and she speaks 5 languages, but she's going to have to keep it to English because this girl only speaks 1. So welcome, Kirti. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Lori. I'm doing great, and I'm so glad to be with you and everyone listening today. And before we start, I just want to say how I honor your work, and I acknowledge, and I'm really, I want to congratulate you for what you've done, because it's AlzheimersSpeaks.com is really a wonderful resource for people. I've participated, I've listened into many of your programs, and I look at it. I refer people to it very often, even in our trainings, because people are lost, and there is no one center place where you can learn and you can be inspired and you can share and you can just feel that you're part of a community. So thank you and congratulations for this. And sometimes, you know, life does give us lemons, and you've made a lot of really good lemonade.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so kind. This really is, you know, was developed for my mom with my mom, and it's been a gift. It's not been a fun journey. It's not one that I would, you know, say sign up for this one, you know, but yet there have been so many gifts along the way that the people that you get to meet on this journey are typically so authentic, because everybody's lost in this kind of mess, and they're all looking for answers, and they share authentically, and the masks come off. You know, it's just they're real, and you have these deep conversations and support that is almost unimaginable, even with people that you've never physically met but just maybe connected with over the internet. It's absolutely fabulous.
So great job, and thank you for bringing us all together here. And how many years have you done this now?
You know, I stepped into this space in 2009, and then I formally kind of went full-time in 2011. I was just shocked at just the natural connections that were made. I attribute our success to just not trying to be perfect and just trying to have a conversation and be inclusive. So, Kirti, before we get into our line of questions, I always like to ask my guests one question, and that is, have you had any family members or friends personally diagnosed or struggling with concerns with memory issues?
Actually, no, I can't really say that. I've always, growing up as a child, I was very, very close to my grandparents, all my four grandparents that were all living, and I just spent a lot of time with them, and I've been just in that relationship. I always valued, it was always very comforting to me, and I just felt that it was something very important for people, for everyone. And so when I came to the States and I married Dr. Dharma, who's the founder of the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation, he had this very strong interest in the holistic approach to keeping your brain health. And so I am not a medical person, but that mission sort of really clicked with me. And so we started working together, and here we are. But I teach seniors, and I also give presentations at independent living and sometimes assisted living communities. And I just really care for these, older people that are going through their golden years, and sometimes not in a very, successful way. So that's the title of our presentation. And I did want to mention that I put in the title our golden years, but really this should be for everyone, people in their 40s. I'm 55, and I definitely, think I really need to be more careful about what I do and how this is going to impact my overall health and my brain health. So really, there's no, as some of our movies that we've seen and these new documentaries are showing, it's really important to start. It doesn't matter when you start. It's never too late. It's never too early. So, it's a continuum. Kids need to be taught how to eat right, and and pay attention, and so that we can maybe curb all this ADD or ADHD trend, right? And then at the other extreme is our seniors need to be encouraged to keep up with positive and healthy lifestyle choices. So it's a continuum.
Today, again, we're going to be talking about brain longevity in the golden years, but can you explain to people what exactly is brain longevity?
Brain longevity, in a nutshell, it's keeping your brain healthy so that then you and us, we have less of a chance of having cognitive decline, cognitive dysfunction of any kind. So if we realize that the body is one, and what works, the basic concept behind the brain longevity is that what works for the heart works for the brain and the head. And so, if we stay healthy, it's going to impact our brain, and it's going to impact our heart, it's going to impact our immune system, and so on. And so it's really a simple idea, like, what you said about Alzheimer's Speaks. Sometimes it doesn't really take rocket science. It's just sort of common sense. And yet, we've seen it. So I'll just jump ahead just a little bit, and I'll say we've been, this foundation has been in existence for 25 years. And in these 25 years, we've gone from total denial about that there's anything you could do for the brain, when Alzheimer's was hardly even known 25 years ago. The word Alzheimer's, of course, doctors knew what Alzheimer's was, but the public didn't really know. And to now, where everybody knows what Alzheimer's is. And so it's really important to realize you can actually do something for your brain.
Yeah, very, very true. Simplicity is so powerful, and we make things so complicated sometimes. And then people think that it's not possible. It's going to be too much work. It's going to take too much time or too much effort or too much money. And so I think talking in just simple terms is really, very powerful for people to understand and for people to be able to incorporate different things into their life as well with that.
Wonderful. So what I wanted to mention is I know everyone here is very familiar with this, unfortunately, but just to summarize what the devastating trend of Alzheimer's is that, there's more and more people being diagnosed. The first actual risk factor for the development of dementia is age. So as we know, our whole world is aging. There's more older people, now than there have ever been. And so I'll just focus on the U.S. The Alzheimer's is on the rise. 5.4 million Americans of all ages have Alzheimer's, and of those, 5.2 million are age 65 or older. It's the 5th leading cause of death in this age group, but it's the 6th leading cause of death in all leading causes of death in the U.S. And very sadly, more than 60% of those age 70 with Alzheimer's won't live to be 80. So we are losing wonderful people in our wonderful families and our communities to this terrible disease. Just to illustrate what I was saying before, that everybody knows what Alzheimer's is, there was a poll a couple of years ago, and the boomers' number one goal was to maintain a sharp brain with age. So we are healthy, we're living longer, obviously, because in general, people are healthier than before in history. And yet the boomers' number one fear is to get Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So, we are in touch with the reality, which is just, a scary reality. Now, to bring it back to our topic here. So our foundation is the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation. Was founded in 1993, which seems impossible, by Dr. Dharma and myself. And we are dedicated to the prevention of Alzheimer's disease by funding neuroscience research on lifestyle methods, including yoga and meditation, and providing educational outreach and memory screenings as awareness program, Alzheimer's awareness program. Because as you know, when you are out and you talk to people, there's two things that happen. One is people say, I don't want to know. And then two, people come and say, I need to know what to do to prepare myself. And mm-hmm. what are my risk factors? So our foundation, we get asked this question all the time, how are you different from other Alzheimer's charities? And really, we're different because we fund research on lifestyle. We do not really are not interested in the drug approach. That is very important for a certain segment of people. Once people are the mid or later stage of Alzheimer's, they need a lot of help, obviously, and it's devastating. And our goal is really to talk to people while we're healthy and we're active, and we want to train people how to stay active and healthy for as long as possible. Kind of summarize that, this is what we've been doing for the last 25 years. We've been dedicating research to the prevention of Alzheimer's through yoga, meditation, and lifestyle. We've been revolutionizing the conventional medical wisdom, because really everybody always thought you just take a pill and manage it that way. And unfortunately, it's really not the status of affairs right now, because there is no magic pill and no drugs are really working very effectively. There are some medications that are working in some people, but not as extensively as needed. We've been establishing Alzheimer's disease as a preventable disease that can even be effectively treated and often prevented. a brain healthy lifestyle. And I need to add that, it can be treated. We believe that it can be treated in the very early stages, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've been educating the public about the disease and ways to delay its development and reduce the risk factors. This is, we're very lucky and we're very proud to call these research institutes our research partners. West Virginia University, School of Public Health, the University of New Mexico, UCLA, Department of Psychiatry, the University of Arizona, the Arizona Center on Aging, Penn in Philadelphia, and the largest research institute in the world is the Karolinska Institute. And so we've been funding and working with all of these institutions.
Wow, that's fantastic. I didn't realize the extensive partnerships that you have. That is really, really cool. So congratulations. Can you get into, I know that you have a belief that there's kind of 4 pillars to Alzheimer's and in dementia prevention. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how people can bring this information into their own communities?
Yes, of course. Thank you. So we designed these 4 pillars of Alzheimer's prevention. First one is diet and brain-specific nutrients. The second is stress management. The third is mental and physical exercise. And the fourth is spiritual fitness. So I'll talk a little bit about each one of them. And if people have any questions after this, I will also refer you to free resources. But basically, the idea is, what can we do on our own, in our own daily life, to empower ourselves to stay as healthy and take care of our brain as much as we can? We don't need to rely on, outside influences or outside advice, or, because what we do every day is really what matters. So diet. It's the thing we do, we do the most probably after sleep is we eat. So the Alzheimer's prevention diet, or a brain longevity diet, includes 20% of good fat, like extra virgin olive oil, avocado, nuts, flaxseed oil, omega-3s. So good fat, omega-3s from fish, and then 40% lean protein, like fish, chicken, turkey, soy, if people are vegetarian, and 40% complex carbohydrates. And we don't mean sugar here, such as vegetables, legumes, some whole grains, fresh fruit, of course. So that makes up your carbohydrates intake. And then superfoods for the brain. What are those? Blueberries. Everybody knows about blueberries. Spinach. So the dark color produce, plums, leafy green vegetables. All of these are very high antioxidants, and that's really what helps bring nutrition to the brain and gives really proper nutrition to the brain. Number 2 is stress management, because really it just seems almost incredible, but it just seems that there is more and more stress. It's not going away.
Yep.
I would just like to know who does not have stress in this day and age. And I'll tell you, sometimes at these assisted living communities, I'll give this presentation and I'll say, who has stress? Raise your hand. Everybody raises their hand. And, it's just amazing. Older people, our elders, even those that live in, sheltered, and they're taken care of, and they have their meals provided, and it's already in a privilege situation in some respect. And even they have very legitimate stress, because they may be having health problems. They may have a spouse that has health problems. They may have children that have economic difficulty. They may have grandchildren that are, stationed somewhere in the Middle East. And so they may have financial issues themselves. So everybody has stress. So stress kills. This is the reality. If we don't manage the stress, it's it's very, very deleterious to our brain and our overall health. Exercise. I think many people know now, the importance of physical exercise and keeping your overall health, and it's used as an anti-cancer, a cancer preventative modality. It's used as of course, as a heart disease prevention and treatment. And it's also very, very good for your brain, because physical exercise increases your breath, your breathing rate, and also, the pump, how faster your heart pumps. And so all of this together goes in your heart, and it goes, of course, in your brain. So it's very good for your brain. It doesn't have to be really serious, pumping iron exercise. It can be a brisk walk. It could be a dance class. There's more and more research coming out about all these different types of physical activity that help your brain. And then, of course, mental exercise is really true. Use it or lose it. So we need to exercise our brain, and it's not through work because work is a different pathway. So it has to be novel exercises. And then the fourth is really spiritual fitness is the combination of psychological and spiritual wellness. So what do we mean by this? Some people are kind of taken aback by this. And what it means is really do something that gives you meaning. So whatever it is, if it's volunteering, if it's running a church group, prayer, it's anything that, writing a book, writing your memoirs. You'll see that in pillar 3 and 4, what is sort of it's unstated here, but it's a common, is that it has some social component to it, because when you exercise, you likely go with a friend or go with a buddy or go with a group. And spiritual fitness, if you go volunteer, you usually, I belong to Rotary, and we do service projects. So we go this weekend, we're going to go garden at a senior home. And so, you're there with other people that are like-minded, that you share interests and stories and experiences with. And that's really, what gives us meaning. So pursue something that gives you meaning. And I know that many times when people are not well, or they're isolated, we tend to get depressed, and we tend to isolate ourselves even more. And that's really deleterious, not only, of course, to your state of mind, and we don't want people to get depressed, but also, for your brain, believe it or not, for your brain. And so I just want to mention for all our listeners that we have free resources on just about all these topics. And we have them on our website, alzheimersprevention.org. You can get them as a download or hard copy. And they're free. We will mail them to you, or you can download them right there on the spot. And we have them in English, and we have them in Spanish, although they're not pictured here.
Great. Now, the 4 pillars one, is that a download or is that a hard copy? Both? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, it's great information, and I love the 4-pillar concept, because I think sometimes people forget the physical exercise we hear about, the diet we hear about, the stress management not so much, and that social and spiritual connection. Those are so powerful and have such a big impact, and it's nice to see those coming to the forefront, because like you said, everybody has stress. They might be hiding it, but it's there. It's there at some level.
Oh my goodness. I mean, even if somebody didn't have any problems in their life, just turn on the TV, my goodness,
Yep.
So it's just full of bad news. So yes, stress is very, very Very, very important to be aware of it.
Your company, your foundation, and I'm going to refer to it as ARPF because that's just a little bit shorter. That's what a lot of people refer to you as. You know, your focus has really been kind of on yoga and meditation, which for a long time, you know, my belief has been that's been a really uphill battle because, you know, people kind of poo-pooed it originally, and you guys have some great evidence through your studies and stuff now that have really opened the doors, and we're seeing not just the dementia community, but the medical community really embrace this much more than what we've ever seen. That's what I'm seeing from my bird's eye view. Are you seeing that as well?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, so yoga is common, it's popular. You see it on ads for businessmen, and you know, for children, for women, for you know, older adults. So I just wanted to mention what is yoga. Yoga is a group of systems of ancient philosophy, practices, and lifestyle that is attributed to be about 5,000 years old. It's made up of breath control, what is called pranayama, and specific bodily postures like asanas, which means, for example, sitting here on the mat, and mudras, which is a hand position, and meditation. And it's used worldwide for health and stress reduction. Having said this, I always, you know, because I'm a yoga teacher, and, you know, when I go and I teach, and I know that this is not the reality. This picture here, you know, can turn people off. So I want to show you when we teach yoga, this is the reality. You don't have to sit on the floor with your, you know, with your legs in a pretzel. You can sit in a chair. Absolutely. This is one of our teachers, and she's teaching a senior yoga class in chairs. So, you know, I just want to say that because I want to bring it to everyone's level.
Yeah. And I think that that's really important in showing that, yeah, you don't have to get on the floor where you're not sure you're going to get back up.
Exactly.
You know, that you can sit in a chair, and, you know, it can be adapted.
Exactly. Can totally be adapted. So what we have been, one of our focuses has been research on what is called Kir-tan Kri-ya yoga meditation. And I just want to go over quickly what is Kir-tan Kri-ya. Kir-tan Kri-ya is a 12-minute chanting exercise in the Kundalini yoga tradition that people have been practicing for thousands of years. This meditation involves repetitive finger movements or mudras, plus verbal chanting and silent chanting of the mantra Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And these are the finger, you can see the picture at the bottom. At Sa, you touch your index finger. At Ta, you touch your middle finger. At Na, you touch your ring finger. And at Ma, you touch your pinky. And you just keep going, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma, for 12 minutes. It has a little bit of a sequence to it, and people can learn more. They can email me, they can look it up on the website. But what does this mean in English? Kirtan is a song because it's sung, and these ancient primal sounds from Sanskrit come from the word Satnam, which means my true identity. So that's what this mantra means. And the Kriya, which is in the title, is refers to a specific set of movements or chants. And so in this yoga tradition, kriyas are used to help bring the body, mind, and emotions into balance, thus creating healing. So we have actually done.
Kirti, can I have you just go back for a second? Can you just sing it for us and show the hand signs? I think that would be helpful for people.
So the hands will be in your lap, but I'm just, of course, bringing them up here so you can see. And so you go Sa Ta Na Ma, Sa Ta Na Ma, And then you do 2 minutes out loud like this, 2 minutes in a whisper. Sa, da, da, ah. Then 4 minutes silently, where you just do it in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep doing your fingers. Apparently, the different types of chanting and silent work on different parts of your awareness and of the brain. And then you go back in the whisper, sa, da, na, ma. And then sa, da, na, ma, sa, da, na, ma. That's it, 12 minutes.
Well, and I think, to me, and I'm a novice at this, but to me what it does is it gets you to concentrate on nothing but that, and pushes everything else away so that you can really just get into that kind of really quiet space, that peaceful thing, because it's repetitive. You know what to expect. You're part of it, and nothing else really enters in. And I know for people who haven't done something like that, it can seem really strange, but I think you'll be really surprised at how you feel afterwards, because it doesn't, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can go with the flow with it, and to get yourself comfortable, just like you adapt to the chair yoga and stuff. Some people, maybe they can't do it for a full 12 minutes initially, but I would encourage people to at least start and try it, because I'm a big believer in breath and how that changes just our whole core. And I use the breath a lot just throughout my day, get me centered. If I'm feeling a little wacky whack or feeling a little frustrated, it's just like, okay, just take some deep breaths. And it gets back to that simplicity. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hard, but it is important to put the time and energy into it. So I thank you for showing people an example of that.
Of course. And if people want to we actually have a beautiful recording that is, it has a beautiful background music, and it's chanted, and it's basically, you just follow along with it. It's only 12 minutes, and it's, I think it's a $20 donation to the foundation, and all proceeds, of course, support Alzheimer's awareness programs. So you can download it or purchase the CD, same price.
Great.
From our website. And again, there's no magic bullet. This is not going to cure everything. But, when you adopt this as a part of your healthy lifestyle, it will make a difference. Mm-hmm. And I'll show you a little bit more about what this research has done. These are the scientifically proven benefits of the simple 12-minute chanting exercise. Reduces stress, improves sleep, reverses some symptoms of memory loss, increases energy levels, upregulates positive genes, increases your telomerase by 43%, which is a genetic marker, decreases anxiety and depression, improves psychological well-being, enhances neurotransmitter function, increases blood flow to significant brain areas, reduces some risk factors for Alzheimer's disease, like depression and more, and downregulates the genes that cause inflammation, meaning it balances the inflammatory markers in your body, in your blood.
Oh, wow. That one I wasn't aware of. The other ones I was, but that last one I wasn't. And so many people have issues with inflammation.
Oh my gosh, it's big. Yes.
Yep.
So I am not a doctor or a radiologist, but I want people to see, this was the very first study that we did on regular volunteers, healthy people with Kir-tan Kriya. So this was the before. This is a SPECT scan that measures blood flow to the surface of the brain, and this is the brain seen from the neck. So
okay.
From the bottom, not from the top. And so this is the before, and this is the after picture after 12 minutes. So even somebody that is not trained can certainly see that the after looks more puffy, so fuller and more symmetrical. Look at the back here. I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but the back is sort of asymmetrical on the before, and it's fuller and symmetric after. And these little dimples at the front, at the top, it means reduced blood flow. That's what it means. And so look at 12 minutes later, how it's more just healthier. It does look healthier. So this was the first study, and it really propelled us into this work. And so from there, we've done...
Kirti, can I ask on the one slide there, in the middle, it looks like there's like a dot.
I know. It's really cool. They think, so the radiologists think that it's the thalamus that is activated.
Okay.
And, but they don't know because they've never seen it before.
Okay.
So it's quite an impressive picture. And so we've done since then, this was completed in 2008, I believe. And we've done since then at least 5-6 studies. And, you know, for the benefit of our presentation, I want to show people that one of them, you know, showed that meditation had an improvement in cognition, whereas the relaxation, which was actually just listening to music, had not, you know, an improvement in cognition after 8 weeks.
Okay.
So something is working with this technique. And also this is a very interesting slide that shows, you know, we measured telomeres or telomerase, which is the end of your DNA strand at the very end, it's the cap on your DNA. And so it's the genetic measurement, and we measured that, we showed an improvement in genetics. So meaning that technically speaking, what happened was that this enzyme that covers your, you know, your DNA strand was stronger and more of this enzyme. So
Okay.
you can see the before and after, whereas the relaxation group actually had even a little bit less than when they started. So
Wow.
it's a significant, very significant benefits for really just tapping your fingers for 12 minutes.
Yep.
Say it this way, you know. And I really like this slide because this was used by UCLA, you know, when they were recruiting to do the study, and they said yoga for mild cognitive impairment at UCLA, and they have, you know, these of course mature individuals. I want to tell you that this work has been presented and featured in medical textbooks like these. We've had 30 papers published in prestigious medical journals since 2010, including the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, the Arizona Geriatric Society, the Lancet, and more. And in 2017, our research was published 3 times in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease. And I want to start with the one at the bottom: meditation and music improve memory and cognitive function in adults with subjective cognitive decline. So this is to go along the lines of what we've been talking about, the yoga. But also, our research is not only focused on this. We've been proud supporters and contributors to what is called the Finger study, which is the Finnish interventional geriatric study for the prevention of cognitive disability that takes place in Finland and Sweden. And this study is the very first large study, 1,200 people over 2 years was the beginning part of the study, utilizing lifestyle measurements, lifestyle interventions. And so it's really something that mirrors our 4 pillars of Alzheimer's prevention. And so we've been, contributors and partners. And then we also sponsored a branch out of the study, studying telomere length. So if you remember the word telomerase from before, this is the same concept, and they're showing that even genetically, not only cognitively, people have improved, but also genetically, people have improved. And in fact, people with the ApoE4 gene improved the most.
Really?
Yes. So it's incredibly exciting for us. Where we just want to continue doing this work forever, because the more you start looking at this, the more exciting news and empowering tools we discover for people.
I'm going to have to pass that on to one of my members in our memory cafe. Just had the genetic testing, and they have that. In fact, they have 2
wow.
of that gene. And so I'll have to pass this on to them, and because I know their kids are a little bit worried about it as well, and this might be something for them to consider.
Certainly. And if they have any questions, they can certainly email me.
Okay. Now, you, with all of this, you've also are kicking off a training academy. Can you give us an overview of the brain longevity therapy training and elaborate basically on the benefits of the course for people?
Thank you, Lori. Yes, I'd be delighted to. So we just felt that in the growth of our organization, that it was time to start training other professionals on these concepts and these modalities, because unless somebody's really has had the time to study, all of this, or maybe some people are very kind and some people are very intuitive, but otherwise it's hard to sort of start, adopting this kind of a lifestyle approach when you see patients or clients that are elderly and need maybe some kind of coaching in this way. And so at the end of last year, we launched our very first brain longevity therapy training event, and it was very successful. As I said, due to the aging of our population, there is a great need for evidence-based lifestyle tools that help older adults stay mentally healthy and sharp and remain active members of our community. And therefore, we created this training program. The program is designed for neuroscientists, healthcare, any allied healthcare providers, leaders in the healthcare industry, so even administrators or people that are in charge of programs at independent living communities, mental health therapists, caregivers, and even individuals who want to learn how to improve their own brain health. Specifically, we want to work with people that will go out and disseminate this to their community, ministers. We've had, nurses, occupational therapists. So people that, have a profession and they already see seniors, or they want to start seeing, specializing in serving the older community. And so we want to give them these tools. And the next actually session of this therapy, brain longevity therapy training, will take place in just a couple of weeks at Kripalu Yoga Center in Massachusetts. So anyone listening that would like to really learn this, come and join us. We'd love to have you. And I just want to share some of the testimonials we had, and the staff is exceptional and very accommodating. Materials and organization of curriculum was great and beyond expectations. The speakers were awesome and leaders in their field. Someone else said that the faculty is amazing. The research was interpreted in a meaningful way. I now have a program that I can share with my family and community. Because that's really what we want. You know, it's about expanding this movement, like you said, for Alzheimer's disease. And then another person said, this was one of the most amazing experiences that I have had. The training exceeded all my expectations and was so much more than a training. It was an awakening for all of us to go out into the world and make a difference.
Wow, what great testimonials. And I love, you know, how they're all basically saying, this has touched me personally, this is way beyond work, you know, and that you took something that was, you know, because research can be really complicated and just go right over our heads, but you brought it back to the people's level where they can apply it, and you kept it, again, simple, so that they felt it was something they could do instead of, oh, this is just going to be too much.
Right, right. And we're offering, you know, ongoing support as part of the training. So again, if anybody's interested, you can look up our website, alzheimersprevention.org. And, you know, just in a couple of weeks, anyone on the East Coast, Northeast US, great training.
Wonderful. Now, you had mentioned earlier that this is your 25th anniversary. It amazes me, you know, how long you've been at this and how long it's taken for people and professionals both to embrace work that you're doing, because it's, I think a lot of people just looked at it as foo-foo, and people are seeing that there aren't medical answers right now. You know, in our traditional line of medicine here in the U.S., and people are really expanding and looking for more. And now you've got the research to back it up. So, you know, what is your vision for the next 25 years, and how do you plan to grow and move forward?
Well, we have two big visions. The first one is we are funding a large research project on women, and we're calling it the Pink Brain Project. Women are more susceptible to Alzheimer's and dementia than men, and it's a little bit unclear still why that is. I mean, there are some ideas, including that women live longer, and that going through menopause affects the brain. And so there might be something there, and we are committed to studying this. So we call it the Pink Brain Project. The study will begin shortly at UCLA. And then the second big goal that we have is training 1 million brain longevity specialists. So it will happen, I'm sure, and we're excited. People are very receptive. There is a tremendous need. Of course, people that are ill and are suffering from Alzheimer's, they need care, and their families need to be supported. And we can't just not think about the people that may be at risk or are at risk and may develop it. And so, you know, there is a need for being more empowered about taking responsibility about their health lifestyle choices. So
wonderful. Well, that's exciting. Are you guys working, you know, like with Maria Shriver? She's got her Women's Alzheimer's movement. Are you aligned with her at all at this point, or?
Minimally, but I believe that we will be more and more.
Yeah, because with, you know, her, I mean, she's raising funds, and I know that she's looking specifically for, you know, research projects specific to women. Yeah. And so that might be great, a great alliance there. I know Us Against Alzheimer's, you know, has their women's group as well. I mean, this is, it's an area of need, that's for sure. And I love your goal of getting 1 million brain longevity specialists. Are you going to do kind of a train the trainer with the program, or is that part of it now, or something?
Yeah, it is right now a train the trainer program.
Okay.
And we're also we're expanding our faculty, so there will be more teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And also we're going to launch it as an online course.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
yes, that's all in the works.
A lot of work. It's a lot of work when you've got passion. The list never ends, but it's exciting to see what all you have accomplished and the work that you're doing. Are you guys going to be at the Alzheimer's Disease International Conference this year?
Yes. We're presenting a poster and we have a booth. Yes.
Oh, good. Good.
Are you going?
I'm got to be out in another, I can't remember where I am. I might be able to sneak there a day before, just for a day or so. I'd like to, since it's here in the U.S. and I'm in Minnesota, so it's not far away. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make it work.
Oh.
But it would really be fun to be able to go. So I'll have to see on that.
Yes,
So.
let me know.
Yeah, I will. Kirti, what's the best contact information for people to get a hold of you?
This is our website, alzheimersprevention.org, and this is my email, kirti@alzheimersprevention.org. If anyone has any questions, feel free to email me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Wrapping up again, I so appreciate and honor the work that you guys do, and I totally believe that you are just making such a huge contribution to the world. So keep up the great work. And I want to give a shout out to a couple other companies before we close. One is just the Memory Cafe directory. If people are looking for a memory cafe, Calendar Cards has a system that kind of helps you organize your life if you're living with dementia. We're approaching almost 450 memory cafes now in the U.S., but it's just memorycafedirectory.com, memorycafedirectory.com. And that kind of falls into your spiritual piece and kind of that psychosocial and being connected with people, which is great. The other one is the American Senior Magazine. They just do a fabulous job engaging people through storytelling, through pictures, and they also have activities there designed to engage and kind of keep that brain going. Plus, it's all large print, which I personally love. AmericanSeniorMagazine.com for further information on that. And as always, please check out our other formats on AlzheimersSpeaks.com. There you'll find information not only on the radio show, but the blog and our Dementia Chats, which is a platform similar to this, but I interview people with dementia, and they just have great insights of how they feel and what they'd like the world to look like. Very, very helpful for both staff. Again, appreciate you being part of our audience and our community, and we would love it if you would share this information and help Kirti spread the word of their wonderful work and what they're doing. So thank you very much, and we will talk soon.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Lori. Good luck with the program and all your adventures.
Okay, thank you. Bye now.